Community TV here. Yesterday, Wednesday, was an interesting day for Felixstowe. There was a meeting, or a drop-in meeting called in the town hall, and it was called by Professor Ian Phillips and Professor Mark Shenton, and it was to discuss the fact that it would appear the WHO has selected the UK demonstrating site for integrated care for older people, addressing various areas, and the place in the United Kingdom they've chosen, would you believe, is Felixstowe, and it's peninsular. Isn't that interesting? The discussion was quite wide, but basically there were elements driven by Ian Phillips' experience of 30 years in 50 countries, that it would appear for older people, only a third of their concerns tend to be addressed within the system. And there is means of addressing most of those if there is much more joined up instant integration. So that's really what it's all about. And what they were saying is in the 6 areas of health concern was vision, hearing, mobility, cognition, depression, and nutrition. Those were the sort of the 6 things that were causing most concern within the group, and they're looking really at the age 70 plus in the main. Now, social need, the 6 areas were daily living, social participation, loneliness, violence against older people, living accommodation, and finance. And what was being said was that a number of these issues, and they're obviously disparate depending on the community you're within, if just a couple of them were taken care of or made easier, the quality of living or life for the remaining years that older folk have would be that better. And the aim, apparently, and this is why it's now being supported by the World Health Organization, is that we, those of us above 70 and rising, could have actually a further 1 year of better quality of living, and it's really quality rather than quantity that they were looking at. Now, the way it's going to be introduced here is that the Professor Mark Shenton, who is also the chair of NHS Ipswich and East Suffolk Clinical Commissioning Group, will be chairing a I Cope, and I think perhaps it could be I Can't Cope, but I Cope project board on behalf of the local community. And they are rolling out programs here in Felixstowe initially, then later Hadley and West Ipswich. So folks, what will be happening apparently is that it's going to be routed via the GPs initially. They will be contacting various folk to get the wide demographic spread that they can get, and you will be called forward, if you are willing, for an assessment, and the assessment could be yourself plus whoever the family carer may be who is also helping you in your later years. So, very interesting project. We don't often get the World Health Authority bringing forwards things to do here in Felixstowe or in Suffolk or even in the UK. So I did interview both professors following the meeting yesterday, so watch on and hear what they had to say. Well, hello, young Mark. Long time no see. What, 2 years? Nearly 3 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
Now, it's lovely to see you here in Felixstowe, and what I find amazing is the fact that the WHO is interested in what we could do for those older people, I suppose, 65, 75 on. So would you like to tell me why you convened a meeting here in Felixstowe Town Hall this afternoon?
Indeed, well, we convened the meeting here because we are going to launch a project that's aligned to that WHO project of supporting older people and the care that matters to them. And it's come about through serendipity.
Yes.
It was
Amazing.
a meeting between myself as a newly appointed professor of integrated care at the University of Suffolk,
Right.
development of the Integrated Care Academy, and Professor Phil,
Right.
who you'll be talking to soon,
Yeah.
who had been appointed to help the development of the academy, given his experience in academia, and we got to talk about the things of interest to us, and it became clear that Ian's work that he'd done over many decades, and inclusive of the WHO, was really relevant to a lot of the work we had been undertaking over the last almost a decade.
Yes.
Of developing integrated neighbourhood teams, the Connect space, which is all about the voluntary sector and local community assets and what people are up to
And really spreading it.
involved
Yes.
and how that supports older people.
Yes.
And a lot of it is about giving the opportunity for older people to express what matters to them
Exactly.
in terms of their needs, which could present a risk to their health and well-being.
Right. Ian said that fundamentally the scheme, as it's been assessed, gives 1 year of better quality of life to the over 60s whenever.
Yeah.
I mean, globally, that's sort of 8 billion years of better life around the planet at some point. You know, because we all drop off, don't we? But it is the quality of life, isn't it? It's not really the length of it. It's no, it's
So
quality.
this isn't about promising, that you'll live an extra year.
No.
What it's promising is the opportunity to live a better
quality
for an extra year.
Yeah, that's.
And that's quite significant when we start getting into that, squeeze time as we get a bit older. We're talking about significant percentage gain for people as a consequence of just that one extra year.
Yeah.
And
So how do folks actually hook into be assessed or become a part of, or is that being developed, or is that in development, or is it already there?
So in the Felixstowe area, because we're doing this in 3 areas to start with, in the Felixstowe area it's going to be a letter that's generated using general practitioners lists.
Oh, good.
It's going to be by invitation.
Right.
But there is also an opportunity for people to come forward. I haven't got the contact details for myself right now.
Okay.
But today we have, in the town hall, been taking details of people who've come down and expressed an interest in what's going on.
It's good.
And expressed an interest to be part of it.
All right.
And I think that's really the big message.
It is. Well, thank you very much for that, and thank you for coming to Felixstowe.
My pleasure.
And hopefully the gap between meetings won't be quite as long as two years plus.
Indeed.
All right, let's get out of Ian and see what he's. Fine. We now have Ian Phillips, Professor Ian Phillips, who's here, I think, representing the WHO from a point of view of what we are, or what you are looking to do, and you're looking to do it eventually worldwide, it would appear.
Yes, well, I'm working with the World Health Organization in the development of this worldwide project.
Yes.
Which is to help older people report their unmet needs for their health and their care, and get connected to sources of information, local services and guidance.
Right.
And we know from research that I've done over 30 years in 50 countries that about 2/3 of the things that really matter to older people are not reported.
Really?
But if they are reported, we can do something about them.
Right, and the outcome of this will be what?
So the outcome will be, on average, an extra year of quality life per older person.
Right.
And reduced needs for hospital or long-term care.
Right.
And that's because we're tackling things like loneliness, mobility problems, help for self-care, even broader things like financial difficulties, problems with housing and so on. And the number one concern of older people worldwide is loneliness, so that's one of the things we'll be tackling.
Well, I think within this town, certainly we tend or have seen that with people retiring to the seaside. One of the partners dies, they have sort of a fair way away from the family support group, so loneliness is a big factor.
It is.
And I think with COVID and the people isolating themselves in their home, we're going to be into a process for several years of getting things back to normal, whatever that may mean.
It is a hard times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, how anybody who might be interested in Felixstowe, how will they get to know how to be assessed or what could be done? Because it strikes me that in a large measure you are looking to do quite a lot of signposting of existing systems to people that need them, but equally to perhaps identify where there are gaps that could be filled with a bit of rejigging, a bit of thinking and a bit of tweaking. So would that be right, or is that too simplistic?
No, that's spot on.
Right.
We're connecting.
My editor will be pleased.
No, you've listened carefully, you got it. For getting involved, the model we're using in Felixstowe is we'll be writing out from an older person's GP
Right.
to older people, offering them the assessment. But in this year of the project, we're just doing pilot studies, so that won't be everybody. It will
Right.
be about 100 older people will go through the pilot study here in Felixstowe. As we understand how best to make this work, we'll then offer that to everybody above the age of 75 in Felixstowe, 75 and above, not
Right.
just at the age of 75.
Okay. Well, thank you. And can I say, we are unbelievably fortunate, are we not, that Felixstowe ticked whatever boxes you were using as whatever to be selected. But what I did like to see is you're doing Felixstowe, you're doing a part of Ipswich, you're doing a part of Hadley, so you will have different demographics to actually deal with, because I think, I don't know whether you're aware of it, but the East Coast is God's waiting room, so the proportion of elderly too is very high. But thank you very much for coming here, and perhaps in the future we can do some updates to tell folk exactly what is happening and how it's happening.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having us here.
No.
We're delighted to be in Felixstowe, and when we've got results to report, we will be back to report them, and we'll report them with you.
Well, thank you very much, and hopefully the next time we'll have lots of sunshine.
Young and beautiful, it's your duty to be beautiful. Keep young and beautiful if you want to be loved.